She's a mama. She got some babies up there somewhere. Okay, but if we want to make a container out of bark, we can also use this as an option. Okay, I showed you birch, I showed you cedar, and there's also pine. White pine is the best because of its smooth bark, like this right here. Okay, and we can use a branch on a huge one like this, so we don't have to do nothing to the tree. We just use one of these branches, gives us all we need. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just slice right there, make slices here, and pull me off a chunk of bark. And once I get that, I'll come back with you in just a second. Okay, when you're done, get yourself a nice stretch of bark like that. Okay. You can see here I got a couple nice pieces. Alright, this one here, you can see we got a big knot right there. Got a hole here. There's a couple little holes. This one here is a good piece. There's no holes in this one. We got that crack on the end, but that's not going to matter. Okay. And then this here ain't going to matter. We're just looking to make a vessel we can boil water in. Okay. This pine is going to serve us well. And we're not going to do what we did with the cedar bark. And we're not going to do what we did with the birch bark. I'm going to show you one more method of how to make a bark container. And there's other methods too, but these are the most efficient and practical for our situation. Okay, so let's go ahead and carve these down and we'll go on from there. Okay, just like with our cedar, we're going to go ahead and we're going to strip this outer part of the bark off. Okay, and that's going to add to our pliability to this. Alright, so I'm just going to take that very outer bark off so it gives it some flexibility for me to work it a little bit. Now, one downfall with working with pine is you're going to get covered in pine sap. So what I do, you can see I'm covered in dirt here, is I go, because the sap is real runny and slimy, I just wipe myself down with dirt to kind of get rid of most of it. You know, there's a bunch of pine needles down here, they're all dried out, and I'm just using those to help me out. Because this stuff is messy. It will be sticky. But it will give you a pretty darn good container. Okay, and it's pretty easy taking this bark off. As you can see, I'm just slicing it right off. You just roll it up like this and it gives you a good surface to cut it off, just like that, okay? You can see that I'm just taking that off real easy. Like I said, don't worry about the knots you got in it. Just focus on getting that out of there first. Don't worry about them after. Tick trying to get me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish these up real quick, and then I'll show you the next step after that. Okay, so we got this trimmed out. I trimmed all the knots and stuff off. It's plenty big enough for me, okay? And I got my edges cleared off here. Maybe can take a little more since I took them knots off. Okay, and now you want to get 4 long, dead or alive, pieces of wood here. And you're going to just carve them into nice long spikes. Now you can see how long, here's my hand, you can see how long I have these. Okay, there's a reason for that, because these things, when you put them in, your bark's going to want to kick back out. So if it's not long enough, they'll just slide right out. So make them long enough where they can actually get inside the bark and hold it in there. Okay, and you want them kind of skinny, and you want them kind of sharp, so it'll pierce the skin of the bark. I'd take all the bark off, so it's better for sliding in. And then just like our birch bark container, we take our edge and we fold the corner. We're going to crease it like this. Okay, see how I crease that? What that does is makes that vessel shape, and then you fold it over. Okay, it's simple. Okay, you crease the corner, fold that flap over, and then we're gonna just like sewing here, but with sticks. We're gonna pierce right here. Okay, you want to pierce it in a good spot where it's not going to split everything. Once you feel it get to your finger, push it through. Okay, not too far because you got to get it through the other side. Okay, and then we're gonna see where I'm at here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but we're just gonna pierce through the other side. Okay, and what that does is holds our vessel into place. Okay, I'm trying to make sure you can see what I got going on here. Okay, I'll show you the inside. See how that works? You got that pierced through each side, and then that holds them corners together like that. Okay, so then we just got to repeat the process on each side. See, I have a big tear here that I want to get rid of. So I'm just going to cut that right off because, like I said, we'll have plenty of container here. I'll go ahead and take a little bit more of this off. And then we just got to repeat that process 4 times. And that will give us an effective bark container. You know, and the good thing is when you boil water in this, you're kind of making pine needle tea, minus the needles, but you're getting all that sap in there, which has sugars and some nutrients and minerals and some vitamin C, so it's not going to hurt you. Okay, that's another plus side to this type of container. Alright, so now what I want to do is just finish making my spikes here. Just nothing fancy, just make sure they're to a good point so they're sharp, strong, and smooth all the way through. And it'll work just fine for you. Okay, these are just little pieces of dead branch off the pine that I just grabbed right next to where I got this. It's a pretty simple ideology behind it. Okay, again, fold that corner like this. Okay, you're just creasing that corner in. Okay, and then this flap here gets folded over. Okay, and then we're just gonna do our sewing again. Okay, and there we have another corner done. Okay, when we're done with our container here, this is what you should end up with, something that looks about like this. Okay, and you can see where these sides are folded in like that. What that does is raises this up so you can get that, you know, square shape with a vessel inside. Okay, and this piece is perfect because it has absolutely no holes in it whatsoever. Alright, and that's what you're looking for with any type of bark container, because I showed you with the cedar, put a little bit of pine pitch in there and you're good to go. But this one here, because there is no holes and I don't have to use pine pitch, I could definitely boil this over the fire. And the reason that it's possible with bark containers is because the heat is absorbed in the water and not on the bottom of the container. Okay, now pine is iffy because of all the resin that's in it, and it could just catch on fire. But if you just have hot coals underneath it, you should actually be able to boil water with this. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and fill this up with water and just give you guys a quick look at what it looks like with water in it. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in here to show you what this looks like when you fill her with water. Okay, we get our water in here. It'll leak out until it gets past them puncture wounds there, and then we have ourselves an effective container. Okay, like I said, you can boil water in this. The best thing to do with anything like this is boil it with rocks if you have the rocks around, okay, because then you can use this multiple times to boil water. And there's quite a bit of water in here, okay. You can make these, you know, you saw that big piece of bark I had. That thing will fit, you know, over a liter of water for sure. So you have to keep that in mind when you're making these containers. Make them big. If you're in a survival situation, go ahead and do it big. There's no reason to make them small. But when you boil it, put something over top of this, like a flat piece of bark, to trap that heat. And that's why I like how this one curved over like that. You can see them edges are curved over, and that gives me a way to trap some of that heat and steam to keep the heat high. But there you have it. There's a pine bark container right there with a different method to hold the sides up other than just clamps made from pieces of wood.